Breakups are bad. Or not. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes you're like, sayonara.
Bye-bye now. Bye!
But in general, they're rough, right? They're not fun. I would give them a 4 out of 10. One of the hardest things about when you first break up with someone is sharing the news with people around you. Personally, I like the method of telling the one friend who's a gossip so they share the news with the masses. But what if you're a vlogger, a vlog hog? Rather than sharing the news via word of mouth, what if you sit down with your now ex-partner and film yourselves having the talk in front of millions? Kind of smart, right? Or is it? No, it's not. Before I dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Tara Mooney, and this is the only channel on YouTube where all videos are written and produced by a cat. She couldn't be in the video today because incidentally, she's currently breaking up with someone as we speak. She wanted to be in the video today and, you know, she was gonna just do it over text, but I said to her, no cow, that is effed up. Go do it in person. But if you like and subscribe, she might appear in the next video. Oh, hi. I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Wren. Wren is a website where you can calculate your carbon footprint, then offset it by funding a diverse mix of carbon reduction projects, including tree planting, mineral weathering, and rainforest protection. All you need to do is answer a few questions about your lifestyle. You then find out your carbon footprint, and then you can offset it by choosing one of Wren's specific curated projects to donate to. Once you sign up to make a monthly contribution to offset your carbon footprint, you will receive monthly updates from the projects you support. You get to see what your money is spent on, with photos and details of every tree planted, every acre reforested, and every ton of carbon offset. Their newest project has caught my eye, and that's the Biochar in California project. This project is led by Pacific Biochar, a California-based public benefit corporation, and is the first biochar carbon storage project to be verified in North America. This project removes flammable dead wood from California's forests to stop wildfires, and then turns the wood into biochar, a stable form of carbon that persists for thousands of years. It is considered to be one of the top 5 natural climate change solutions. If this sounds like something you'd like to contribute to, I'll link the full information about the project in the description. So if you're looking to join a collective action to tackle climate change, Wren is the place to go for verified carbon reduction projects. And if you're not 100% sure yet, go check out their Trustpilot reviews because they are excellent. Thank you so much, Wren. Love ya.
Okay, thank you. Love you.
Breakup videos are not a new thing, and they tend to come from vlog channels. The channels where people overshare their lives anyway. And I imagine that they're pretty lucrative because they get a lot of views. My knee-jerk reaction to a breakup video is, why? Why would you do this? But I want to be fair. I guess in the weird world that is YouTube vlogging, it makes a grain of sense. If you're both public figures with attached followers who are invested in your relationship, I can sort of see why you would do it. That being said, the only time where it doesn't make me cringe into oblivion is when the breakup is amicable. I've never watched either of these people's videos, but their breakup video made the most sense out of all the ones I saw. Since they both shared an audience and it was amicable, I suppose it's a good way to say to your audience, don't take sides, don't send hate, we're friends, it's cool, because fan bases are rabid. And sometimes if you leave things to mystery, they make up all sorts of theories and run with it. But then again, you can just do that with a community post. But then again, community posts don't make any money. When breakup videos are done badly, oh boy, they're rough. They make me want to crawl out of my skin and curl myself up into an egg and not hatch until the breakup video has been wiped from existence. They're that level of cringe. Like this one.
Like, it wasn't really that bad between us at that point when you
For me,
were
it
just
was.
vlogging.
I was going through it at that point.
This video has been making the rounds and I can see why. It's difficult to watch. That being said, I have some potentially unpopular opinions about it, but I will get to that later. This is from a channel called OK Baby, and they're a classic family channel, broadcasting their infants without their consent and creating an online footprint they'll never be able to erase. Awesome. They've got 4 kids together and the couple are both 25 years old. The eldest son is 6, so damn, that means they started their family at 19. As someone who is 26, I know I don't look it, but I am, I can safely say that the kind of relationships I had when I was 19 are not ones I would want to be in now, because people change. But this is messy because there's kids involved. So why not hash out your issues on camera and broadcast it to your 1.5 million subscribers? What could go wrong?
Kira broke up with me. So
Does
crazy.
it make you feel better to say it like that? Do you feel better because it's not you?
Yeah, because I tried my ass off to make it work in the end, and
Right now, I wish I drank because I feel like gin would help me get through this.
confidence. I love it. The fact that you think after everything you put me through, I would be like,
Me put you through, I've done nothing. Like besides some attitude here and there.
So clearly there's some unresolved issues. Perhaps they should have had these conversations before, off camera.
so what triggered you to be so mean though this last month?
Obviously, this is bad. It's not healthy for them, and it sure as hell isn't healthy for kids. Their kids. I'm no family therapist, but this can't be good.
Are we just best friends? Like I feel like that's what we are. Is there more to it than that, you know? And there has been more to it than that, but at this point in our lives, I don't feel like there is more to it than that. And nothing happened that's like crazy and dramatic. Nobody like cheated, nobody like...
Feelings were hurt though. You did some things that hurt my feelings, but I found out later on, like a month later, that it's because you were holding these feelings inside and kind of resenting me.
But can you please clarify that I wasn't cheating? Because
Yeah, you weren't cheating.
Like,
You
people
weren't
will
cheating.
dig into
You
that.
did a lot of things that bothered me. I wouldn't consider them full-blown cheating, but it was definitely lines
Oscar,
that
I'm
we
not
shouldn't have
keeping
crossed.
that.
Alright, fine.
Here's where my unpopular opinions come in. Now, they did set themselves up to be criticised by posting this, as you do when you put yourself online. However, the comments section seems to be unanimously on the guy's side and against the lady. The most common criticisms are she keeps interrupting him.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about like the future too, like how it's gonna go and just like
We're still gonna be
financials
like
and the finances
vlogging and uploading on this channel together.
That's what's
Last
been
night
going
was his
on.
first night in the new room.
People suspect she cheated, even though he says she didn't.
As long as we keep doing what we're doing, she's been extremely respectful of the breakup process. Nobody else, like I said, like she said, no one else has been involved. There was no cheating, no nothing.
And that she's giving up on the relationship. I have no skin in this game. But I do think, perhaps, don't crucify me, but perhaps she's being overly and unfairly vilified. And maybe breakups aren't black and white. Jesus, I know, you people hate nuance, I get it. I saw loads of people complaining that she was giving up and that marriage isn't easy and she can still find herself with him and he's such a good guy. And it's like, if you're looking for a reason to break up with someone, there's your reason. When there's kids involved, I agree you should exhaust other options and try and work things out first. But to just stay together for them will not foster a healthy environment. They're also so young. Not wanting to be with someone you met at 19 forever is very common. It happens. And with regards to her alleged cheating, he says she didn't cheat. People point to this clip.
I knew when I, in my head, was thinking of Oscar being happy with somebody else, and that made me happier, that's when I knew I didn't want to be with you anymore. He was talking about like sleeping with girls and how is he gonna do that, and I was trying to give him advice on like how to sleep with girls, or like know when a girl wants to, and all those things.
Oh my god, that is
And
such
it was
a
the
weird comment.
funniest, weirdest conversation.
Not that I was even trying to get any of it. She was telling me like, hey, I think you should sleep with someone. Like, what? First of all, I wouldn't even know
Well,
how to
I
go
just
about
think
that.
like, I don't know, guys, I feel like they just like need that. Like,
And maybe she did say that because she had done it herself. But I think it's also part of being the dumper. If your dumpee gets with someone else, it kind of eases your guilt a little because it means they're not sitting at home crying over you, but instead, you know, at least out having a good time, theoretically. They might be crying over you with that person, but...
doing all those
Oh
things.
my god, that is
And
such
it was
a
the
weird comment.
funniest.
Don't get me wrong, this is weird, but I kinda get it.
Done nothing. Like, besides some attitude here and there. And comforting another guy because he was sad.
Oh, there it is.
I didn't even do anything. This,
I know.
This is
Hey, hey.
comforting to Oscar.
Oh, shut the... But guys, that was early on. Don't even get me started.
But one
Anyway,
time,
anyway.
Oscar was talking to Hannah, and they were helping each other through emotional things. So is that weird?
Yeah, this is something you bring up in counselling, not on camera. Yikes! Also, who are they kidding with this whole we love each other bollocks? They've made Instagram posts being like, we're besties, and it's like, bestie, you're not besties. So this is where I'm going to get crucified. I feel empathy for them both. It seems like a shitty situation, but contrary to popular belief, I feel sympathy for her too. As someone who's been broken up with and has broken up with other people, personally, I found the latter much harder. I grew up on a diet of Catholic guilt, so the idea of seeing someone cry and knowing that I've caused it makes me want to run into a bear enclosure or dive into a tank of jellyfish. It's hard for both parties. You don't have to pick a side. So maybe the reality is when relationships break down, people aren't at their best and they do things that aren't great. But that doesn't mean they're irredeemable. So yeah, they shouldn't have made this. It was a bad idea. So they deleted it. I'm kidding, they made another one.
But the other thing that was asked a lot is like the kids, obviously. Have we told the kids? What have we told the kids? How are they reacting?
I don't know if like, do I even bring it up and just kind of just keep going? Because right now,
Things are so so normal from their point of view. Like we're
at least we think, we don't know.
Wait, what? I know their kids are young, but shouldn't they tell them before the internet? Man, I feel so sorry for the kids when they're old enough to see this. Man, that is gonna fuck with their heads. Speaking of kids, what if you had your kids in the breakup video? That would be abuse, right?
I forgot to tell you this way, so I do apologise.
Just a prank, bro! It was just a prank, bruh. How many kids do you reckon cried whilst watching this? Because of parasocial relationships, but also because it conjured up feelings from their parents breaking up. Seems like causing unnecessary trauma to your audience and your child in the video. Even though this was a prank, it's still fucked up, right? I'm not alone in thinking that, right? Because even though she was acting, they still made their daughter go to that emotional place for profit. Maybe we do live in a simulation. Shall we look at some cats? Today's subscription pet shoutout involves two adorable black kitties called Eris and Nyx. They both weigh over 5 kilograms, damn. Eris beeps sadly until you let her sit on you, and Nyx is a diva who will bite your ankles if you don't pay attention to her fast enough. I also do that. Thank you for sending in these babes, and thank you for watching this little quick video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, because one like equals one breakup video being removed from the internet because we don't need them. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Wren for sponsoring this video. And I just want to add to my lovely subscriptions a little note to say thank you for your patience and bearing with me. And just to be real with you, I know that I've had a lot of sponsors lately. I kind of noticed that every video lately has had one, so I apologize. I know that no one likes to be sold stuff, so if it's getting annoying, I apologize for that. Just for a bit of context, I signed these contracts ages ago and I'm really behind schedule. I got corona in December and January has been not a good month mental health wise, so I'm very behind schedule. I did have more videos planned, you know, so they weren't all sponsored, but unfortunately I'm just very behind and I've got deadlines to meet. So thank you for bearing with me, and I apologize if this feels like a shopping channel. So yeah, thank you so much for the support as always, and extra big thank you to my patrons for keeping the lights on and keeping Siggy fed. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.